The sweetest form of revenge isn't serving it cold. It's not serving it at all. I know this might sound absurd, even infuriating to some of you sitting here, especially those nursing fresh wounds of betrayal. You're probably thinking I'm naive, that I don't understand the depth of your pain, the magnitude of your hurt. But what if I told you that the most powerful response to betrayal isn't plotting revenge, but planning something far more devastating, your own extraordinary success? What if the most painful punishment isn't what you do to them, but what you do for yourself? Have you ever felt that burning desire for revenge? That moment when pain transforms into anger and your heart screams for justice? I see those nods. I see those eyes that carry stories of betrayal. Today, we're going to talk about something that many consider justified, even necessary, revenge. But what I'm about to share with you might change everything you believe about getting even. There's a young woman I met recently. She spent 3 years plotting the perfect revenge against someone who broke her heart. 3 years of her precious life consumed by thoughts of making another person suffer. She created fake social media accounts, spread rumors, and orchestrated situations to destroy this person's reputation. When she finally succeeded, when she finally saw them hurting, do you know what she felt? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. The emptiness remained. The pain hadn't disappeared. Instead, she had become someone she never wanted. But this isn't about her story. This is about your story. This is about the choices you make when someone hurts you so deeply that you feel like you're drowning in pain. This is about the moment you decide who you really are. You see, revenge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. We've all heard this saying, but have you truly understood its depth? When you hold on to thoughts of revenge, you're not hurting the other person. You're hurting yourself. You're allowing someone else's actions to dictate your behavior, your choices, your very essence. Think about the last time someone hurt you deeply. Remember those sleepless nights? Those moments when your mind kept replaying the pain over and over again? Now, be honest with yourself. How many hours, days, or even years have you spent thinking about getting even? How many precious moments of your life have you sacrificed at the altar of revenge? The truth is, seeking revenge is like carrying a heavy boulder on your shoulders while expecting it to crush someone else. You're the one getting exhausted. You're the one whose journey is being slowed down. You're the one missing out on life's beautiful moments because your eyes are fixed on causing someone else's pain. But here's what nobody tells you about revenge. It's not just about the actions you take, it's about the person you become in the process. Every moment you spend plotting revenge is a moment you could have spent growing, healing, or creating something beautiful. Every ounce of energy you invest in hatred is energy stolen from your own happiness. Let me ask you something. What would happen if you took all that energy, all that passion, all that intensity you're directing toward revenge, and invested it in yourself instead? What if, instead of plotting someone's downfall, you planned your own rise? What if, instead of spreading negativity about them, you spread positivity in your own life? You might be thinking, but they deserve to suffer for what they did. Perhaps they do. But ask yourself this, do you deserve to suffer more by carrying this burden? Do you deserve to live in the shadow of what happened to you? Do you deserve to let someone else's actions determine your character? The most powerful revenge isn't making someone else suffer. It's refusing to let their actions change who you are. It's maintaining your integrity when they've lost theirs. It's choosing to be kind when they chose to be cruel. It's deciding that your happiness is more important than their punishment. Remember this, forgiveness isn't about letting someone off the hook. It's about unhooking yourself from their negative influence. It's about freeing yourself from the prison of resentment. When you forgive, you're not doing it for them. There's a beautiful irony in choosing not to seek revenge. When you refuse to let someone's actions change your character, when you choose to respond to hatred with love, when you decide to focus on your growth instead of their destruction, that's when you truly win. That's when you show the world, and more importantly yourself, that your spirit cannot be broken by someone else's actions. Think about the energy it takes to maintain anger, to nurse grudges, to plot revenge. Now imagine channeling that same energy into creating the life you've always dreamed of. Imagine using that passion to fuel your goals, your dreams, your personal growth. The best revenge isn't making someone else's life worse. It's making your life so amazing that you don't have time to think about those who hurt you. But this isn't just about personal growth. This is about breaking the cycle of pain. When you choose revenge, you're not just affecting yourself and your target. You're contributing to a world where hurt people hurt people. You're teaching others, especially those who look up to you, that revenge is the answer to pain. Is that really the legacy you want to leave? Instead, imagine being the person who breaks this cycle. Imagine being the one who shows others that there's a better way to handle pain. Imagine being the example of someone who turned their pain into power, their hurt into healing, their setbacks into comebacks. This doesn't mean you have to pretend the pain never happened. It doesn't mean you have to invite those who hurt you back into your life. It doesn't mean you have to trust them again. What it means is choosing to not let their actions determine your reactions. It means choosing to not let their character affect your integrity. You might be wondering, but how? How do I let go of this desire for revenge? How do I move forward when the pain is still so fresh? The answer lies in understanding that moving forward doesn't mean forgetting. It means focusing on something more. It means recognizing that the best revenge is not revenge at all. It's growth, healing, and success. Start by acknowledging your pain. Feel it fully. Don't try to push it away or pretend it doesn't exist. But then, make a conscious choice about what you're going to do with that pain. Are you going to let it turn you into someone you're not? Or are you going to let it reveal who you truly are? Every time thoughts of revenge creep into your mind, replace them with thoughts of self-improvement. Every time you feel the urge to plot someone's downfall, plot your own success instead. Every time you want to spread negativity about them, spread positivity about yourself. You know what's fascinating about heartbreak? It has the power to either break us completely or rebuild us into something extraordinary. The choice isn't in whether we get hurt. That's often beyond our control. The choice lies in what we do with that hurt. And that's what we're going to explore now. There was once a garden that was trampled by someone who didn't care about its beauty. The flowers were crushed, the soil was disturbed, and it seemed like all hope was lost. But do you know what happened? From that disturbed soil, new seeds found their way to the surface. The trampling that was meant to destroy actually brought buried potential to life. That garden, it's your heart. The trampling, that's your heart. And those new seeds, they're the opportunities for growth that only appear when our world gets shaken up. When someone breaks your heart, they inadvertently create space for something new to grow. It's like the forest after a fire. What looks like destruction becomes the birthplace of renewal. But here's the crucial part. This only happens if you choose to plant seeds of growth rather than seeds of revenge. Think about the energy of revenge. It's dense, heavy, dark. It pulls you down, makes you smaller, turns you into someone you were never meant to be. But the energy of growth, it's light, expansive, uplifting. It pushes you forward, makes you larger than life, transforms you into the person you were always capable of becoming. Let's talk about something that might sound strange at first. Gratitude for those who hurt us. Not gratitude for the pain they caused, but gratitude for the strength we discovered within ourselves because of that pain. Gratitude for the wisdom we gained. Gratitude for the resilience we never knew we had. When you're plotting revenge, you're still letting that person control your story. You're still giving them power over your emotions, your actions, your future. But when you choose growth, you take back that power. You become the author of your own story, not just a character in someone else's drama. Have you ever noticed how some of the most inspiring people you know have been through the deepest pain? It's not despite their pain that they're inspiring. It's because of how they chose to handle it. They understood something crucial. Pain can be a prison or a pathway. The walls that seem to be closing in can become the steps that lead you higher. Now, here's a truth that might be hard to swallow. Sometimes the people who hurt us are actually fighting their own battles. Their actions often say more about their internal struggles than about our worth. This doesn't excuse their behavior, but understanding this can free us from the weight of personal rejection. Their actions are their karma. Your reaction is yours. When you choose revenge, you're choosing to stay connected to the source of your pain. You're choosing to keep that person relevant in your story. But when you choose growth, you're choosing to make yourself the main character in your life story. You're choosing to make their chapter in your life smaller while making your own chapters more meaningful. Consider this: every moment you spend thinking about revenge is a moment stolen from your own potential. Every hour spent plotting someone else's downfall is an hour you could have spent building your own success. Every day consumed by bitterness is a day you could have filled with progress. There's something powerful about redirecting that energy. When you feel the urge to check their social media, check in with your goals instead. When you want to talk about how they hurt you, talk about where you're heading. When you feel like plotting their failure, plot your success. This isn't about suppressing your feelings. Feel them fully. Acknowledge your pain. Sit with your anger. But don't build a house there. Don't furnish it with revenge fantasies. Don't decorate it with bitter memories. Feel it, then use it as fuel to move forward. You might be wondering what moving forward actually looks like. It's not a straight line. It's not about never feeling hurt again. It's about creating something so beautiful from your pain that people can't help but wonder how you did it. It's about turning your wounds into wisdom, your scars into stars. Think about the message you're sending to the universe when you choose revenge. You're saying, I believe in perpetuating pain. But when you choose growth, you're saying, I believe in transforming pain into purpose. Which message do you want to send? Which energy do you want to put into the world? The most powerful response to someone who tried to dim your light is to shine brighter, not to prove anything to them, but to prove something to yourself. To prove that your light comes from within, and no one can take that away unless you let. Remember this: the person who hurt you probably expected you to become bitter, angry, revengeful. They might have even counted on it. But what if you surprised them and yourself by becoming better instead of bitter? What if you showed them? And more importantly, showed yourself that their actions don't have the power to define who you are. This journey from pain to power isn't about them anymore. It's about you. It's about discovering strengths you never knew you had. It's about unveiling layers of resilience you didn't know existed. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need revenge because you're too busy creating something amazing with your life. You see, true power isn't in making others feel small. It's in growing so big that what once hurt you now seems small in comparison. It's in creating a life so full of purpose that you don't have room for revenge. It's in becoming so focused on your growth that you don't have time to check if they're suffering. Do you know what's truly remarkable about the human spirit? Its ability to transform poison into medicine. When someone hands you a cup of bitterness, you have the power to turn it into a potion of growth. That's not just poetic thinking. It's practical alchemy that happens every single day in the lives of those who choose wisdom over wounds. Let's talk about something that often gets overlooked when we're hurt. The gift of clarity. When someone breaks your heart, they unknowingly give you a powerful gift. The opportunity to see yourself more clearly. In those moments of deep pain, when the world seems to stop spinning, you get to discover who you truly are. Not who you pretend to be, not who others want you to be, but who you are. There's a profound difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is automatic, instinctive, often driven by pain. Responding is conscious, chosen, guided by wisdom. When you choose revenge, you're reacting. When you choose growth, you're responding. The space between these two choices, that's where some of you might be thinking, but if I don't seek revenge, they'll think they won. They'll think they can get away with hurting people. Here's the truth. By choosing not to seek revenge, you're not letting them win. You're refusing to play their game altogether. You're choosing a different game, one where the only competition is with your former self. Consider this. Every act of revenge requires you to step down from your character, to compromise your values, to become someone less than who you're meant to be. But every act of growth lifts you higher, strengthens your character, aligns you more closely with your true self. Which direction do you want to go? You know what's interesting about revenge? It keeps you stuck in the past. It's like trying to drive forward while keeping your eyes fixed on the rearview mirror. You might think you're moving, but you're really just circling the same painful moment over and over again. Growth, on the other hand, keeps you focused on the road ahead. It asks, where do you want to go? Instead of who do you want to hurt? There's something powerful about choosing to be. the light in a situation where someone else chose to be darkness. When you refuse to let someone else's darkness dim your light, you're not just preserving your own brightness. You're showing others that it's possible to stay illuminated even in the darkest moments. Think about the stories that inspire you. Are they stories of successful revenge or stories of remarkable resilience? Are they tales of getting even or accounts of getting better? The most inspiring stories are never about how someone destroyed another person. They're about how someone rebuilt themselves as a truth that might change everything. The person who hurt you doesn't have to stay relevant in your story. They can be a chapter, not the whole book. They can be a lesson, not the conclusion. They can be the reason you started, but they don't have to be the reason you continue. When you're tempted to seek revenge, ask yourself this. In 10 years, who do you want to be? Do you want to be known as the person who got even or the person who got better? Do you want to be remembered for how well you loved or how effectively you hurt others? Do you want your story to be about destruction or construction? There's a special kind of strength in choosing kindness when you've been shown cruelty. It's not the strength of muscles or might, it's the strength of character. It's the kind of strength that changes not just your life, but the lives of those around. The kind of strength that breaks cycles of pain instead of perpetuating them. Let's talk about something that rarely gets mentioned, the courage it takes to choose growth over revenge. It's easy to let pain turn into anger. It's easy to let hurt transform into hatred. What's difficult? What requires real courage is choosing to remain true to your highest self even when others have shown you their lowest selves. You might be carrying pain that feels too heavy to bear. You might be holding anger that seems too intense to contain. But what if that pain isn't just pain? What if it's also potential? What if that anger isn't just anger? What if it's also energy that could be redirected toward your growth? Every time you choose not to seek revenge, you're making a deposit in your character bank. Every time you choose to focus on growth instead of getting even, you're investing in your future self. These choices might not feel significant in the moment, but they accumulate, they compound, they create something remarkable over time. There's a freedom that comes with letting go of the need for revenge. It's like putting down a heavy backpack you've been carrying uphill. Suddenly you can breathe more easily. You can move more freely. You can see the path ahead more clearly. That's what happens when you choose to travel light, unburdened by the weight of vengeful thoughts. Consider this. The energy of revenge is inherently negative. It requires you to hold darkness in your heart. But the energy of growth is inherently positive. It fills you with light. Which energy do you want to carry within you? Which force do you want shaping your future? The choice between revenge and growth isn't just about what you do. It's about who you become. Every choice shapes your character. Every moment presents an opportunity to either strengthen your connection to your highest self or to compromise your values for the sake of getting even. There's something powerful to consider. When you choose growth over revenge, you're not just changing your own story. You're showing others that there's a different way to handle pain. You're demonstrating that it's possible to turn wounds into wisdom. You're proving that the human spirit is stronger than any hurt it encounters. There's a moment in everyone's healing journey that rarely gets talked about, the moment when you realize that your pain has become your teacher. Not your tormentor, not your enemy, but your guide towards something greater. This moment doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It arrives quietly, often in the midst of your darkest hours, like a soft light breaking through storm clouds. You see, when someone breaks your heart, they inadvertently hand you a choice. This choice isn't just about them. It's about the person you're going to become. Every heartbreak carries within it the seeds of transformation. The question isn't whether these seeds exist. The question is whether you'll nurture them or neglect them while tending to the garden of revenge. Let's explore something that might seem counterintuitive at first. The idea that those who hurt us become our unwitting teachers. They show us our vulnerabilities, yes, but they also reveal our strengths. They expose our wounds, true, but they also unveil our incredible capacity for healing. They test our limits, certainly, but they also expand our understanding of what we can endure and overcome. Think about the last time you felt the urge for revenge. Remember how it felt in your body? The tension, the heaviness, the consuming nature of those thoughts? Now think about the moments when you focused on your own growth instead. the lightness, the sense of possibility, the feeling of expanding rather than contracting. Your body knows which path leads to healing. Your heart knows which choice aligns with your true nature. There's something profound about the moment you realize that seeking revenge is like carrying someone else's darkness within you. It's like voluntarily taking on their shadow, their lower nature, their capacity for causing pain. But when you choose growth, you're carrying light instead. You're holding on to your own potential, your own capacity for transformation, your own power to create rather than destroy. Here's a truth that might shift your perspective. The person who hurt you has already taken enough from you. Don't let them take your character too. Don't let them steal your capacity for kindness. Don't let them rob you of your ability to trust, to love, to believe in the goodness that still exists in the world. When you feel the pull toward revenge, remember this: every moment you spend plotting someone else's unhappiness is a moment you could have spent designing your own happiness. Every ounce of energy you invest in their downfall is energy diverted from your own rise. Every thought consumed by revenge is a thought that could have been dedicated to your own renaissance. How can I make them? Versus, how can I make them pay? Versus, how can I make my life so beautiful that I forget to check if they're suffering? One question keeps you chained to the past. The other propels you into a future of your own making. One question diminishes you. The other elevates you. You might be wondering about justice. Don't they deserve to face consequences for their actions? Perhaps they do. But here's the thing. True justice doesn't require your personal involvement. The universe has its own way of balancing accounts. Your job isn't to be the collector of karmic debts. Your job is to be the architect of your own redemption. Let's talk about something that requires immense courage: choosing to remain open-hearted after someone has violated your trust. This doesn't mean being naive or letting your guard down completely. It means understanding that one person's actions don't define the potential of all human connections. It means knowing that your capacity to love is stronger than your fear of being hurt again. There's a special kind of power in choosing to focus on your own light when someone tries to dim it. It's like being a lighthouse. No matter how dark the night, no matter how rough the seas, you keep shining. Not because you're trying to guide them back to you, but because that's who you are. That's what you do. You shine. Think about the story you're writing with your life. Every choice you make is a sentence in this story. Every reaction to pain is a paragraph. Every response to betrayal is a chapter. What kind of story are you creating? Is it a tale of vendetta, or is it an epic of personal transformation? Is it a story of getting even, or a story of getting better? Here's something to consider. When someone breaks your heart, they show you pieces of yourself you might never have discovered otherwise. They show you your resilience, your strength, your capacity to begin again. In trying to break you, they accidentally reveal just how unbreakable you truly are. The journey from pain to power isn't about denying your hurt. It's about transforming it. It's about taking the energy of that pain and redirecting it towards something constructive rather than destructive. It's about turning your wounds into wisdom, your scars into stars, your breakdowns into breakthroughs. Consider the legacy you're creating with your choices. Every time you choose growth over revenge, you're not just making a decision for the present moment, you're setting a precedent for future generations. You're showing others that there's a higher way to handle hurt. You're demonstrating that the human spirit is capable of transforming any pain into purpose. There's something magnificent about the moment when you realize that the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's the absolute refusal to let someone else's darkness corrupt your light. It's the decision to not just survive their betrayal, but to thrive. It's the choice to make their chapter in your life so small that it gets lost in the epic story of your becoming. Remember this, when someone shows you their worst, they invite you to show your best. When they choose darkness, they give you the opportunity to choose light. When they opt for destruction, they present you with the chance to choose creation. Every act of betrayal carries within it the seeds of transcendence if you're willing to plant them, water them, and watch them grow.